Welcome to Home Food Best Food. I'm Bhavna Jagannatha. Click on the red subscribe button to subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon to stay updated with the latest recipes. Today's video is about eggless sponge cake. How simple this cake is, how amazing it tastes. It's so moist and packed with all right flavors. Perfect to enjoy with a cup of your favorite coffee or tea. Most cake rely on egg to create that fluffy cloud-like texture. Good news is that we can replicate the same spongy texture without using eggs by replacing it with yogurt. So today I'm going to give you all the tricks and tips required to make this perfect eggless sponge cake. So keep watching till the end. So let's see the ingredients required. 1.5 cup of all-purpose flour, 1 teaspoon salt, 3/4 cup of milk, half tablespoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, half cup of sugar, half cup of yogurt, 2 teaspoon of vanilla essence, half cup of butter. So let's start preparing this cake. Let's first mix all the wet ingredients together. Take a mixer jar and add 3/4 cup of milk, half cup of yogurt, half cup of butter, 2 teaspoon of vanilla essence, half cup of sugar, and blend it into a fine paste. Blending the wet ingredients in the mixer jar results in a lot of aeration in the wet ingredients, and this air bubbles that are trapped in the wet ingredients results in the fluffy texture of your cake. Let's mix the dry ingredients next. Take a bowl and take a sieve. Onto a sieve, take 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour, 1 teaspoon salt, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, and half tablespoon of baking powder. Next, sieve it well. Next, add the wet ingredients little by little in dry ingredients and whisk it well. Mix by cut and fold method. Tip number 2 is do not overbeat the batter. Overbeating the batter may result in sinking of the cake while baking. Mix until the batter forms a ribbon when dropped from a whisk. Next, let's prepare the pan by placing the pan on parchment paper and marking the base. Let's cut the base out and place it within the pan. Next, to make the sides, measure the sides lengthwise and cut it a strip as shown in the video. Place the strip. Add some cooking oil or spray onto your mold. Cover it well. After coating the pan with the oil, place the parchment strips onto the mold. Meanwhile, preheat the oven at 350 Fahrenheit or 180 Celsius. Now your mold is completely ready. Next, slowly add the batter into the pan. Wiggle the tin gently to get a smooth surface. You can also tap it against the kitchen counter. Place it in the conventional oven and bake it at 350 Fahrenheit for 25 to 30 minutes. Place your cake on the countertop. Pierce a toothpick and check for the doneness of the cake. If the toothpick comes out clean, that means the cake is done. Tip number 3 is once the cake is baked, remove it from the mold as soon as you take it out of the oven. Cooling it for longer will make the cake dense and flat. It's ideal that you cool the cake on the wired rack to allow the flow of air from top to the base of the bread. Tip number 4 is for a perfect trace in the baked cake, use sour curds or yogurt. It provides good amount of moisture and fat in the batter and prevents the drop and dip of the cake. Let me cut a piece of cake and show you how fluffy and perfect it's baked from inside. Look so spongy and fluffy it is. You can cut it any way, radially or into small cubes. Cutting into small cubes will help you in portion control. Opening the oven doors when the cake is still baking will result in decrease in the oven temperature. A sudden drop in the temperature might lead to deflating of the cake. If you follow these tips while baking your eggless cake, you will find a significant difference in the way it turns out. It will be airy, light, and it will be easily spring back to the touch. I hope you like this recipe and thanks for watching.